all Kenyans who are watching us and to this committee that in procurement law, there is nothing like government to government.
Questions surrounding the cost of the standard gauge railway and the due diligence carried out by government prior to its construction have dogged the project from early on. As things stand, the heads of the National Land Commission and the Kenya Railways Corporation are facing charges in court over irregular compensation made for railway reserve land. And now, scrutiny on the financing agreement entered into by Kenya and China for the first phase from Mombasa to Nairobi has revealed that Kenya offered as security its sovereign assets, despite the head of state being adamant that the Mombasa port is safe from Chinese takeover.
We got people worried that there's some public assets that would be put up against the said loan for the SGR.
But
just to close,
yes. I have said, Bwana Masai.
Yes.
Right? Do you want a copy of the contract?
Yes, and that's what I wanted to say, to ask.
Do you want a copy?
Yes, I do.
I will give it to you.
And Kenyans as well, just so that...
Yes. I thought through you, you will pass it on.
Yes, to publicize it, not just to have it to me. Because people want to have it.
Uniambie kwa hiyo contract ni pahali gani?
Nipe tafadhali.
Nitakupatia.
Asante.
Ni mali yako jameni, wewe si Mkenya.
2 weeks and counting, and the said contract remains elusive. In an expose, however, the Sunday Nation revealed that as a standard practice, the contract contains a confidentiality clause. What wasn't quite so clear-cut is the provision in the contract that required Kenya to waive all claim of immunity over its assets on sovereign grounds. And while the implications legitimize the concern for the port of Mombasa, some state officers have sought to downplay the provision as run-of-the-mill. Among them, the Cabinet Secretary for the East African Community, Aden Mohammed. Several economists are, however, not buying it, viewing the concession as highly irregular. It is not even practical to attach national assets as a loan collateral. Sovereign guarantees are usually sufficient to cover for loans borrowed by governments. Those are the thoughts of a Nairobi-based economic analyst who sought to remain unnamed. And no explanation has been put forth on another contentious provision on disputes that dictates that they be placed before the China International Economic and Trade Arbitration Commission in Beijing under Chinese law and with no option for appeal. A dictate viewed by the experts as unconventional. Speaking to the Nation, cross-border commercial contract specialist Shitul Shah explained that normally you would need an independent arbitrator because this is about mediation, which should be made neutral and impartial by all means. Specifying the mediator and the neutral ground to carry out the mediation is suspect. Reporting for NTV, I'm Olive Barrows.